it too. Well, give us a hand with this, will you?
Is it worth sixpence, sir?
Oh, you're always thinking of money, mate.
For that now.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, why can't you wait until Mr. O'Leeden gets here?
There'll be no point. The facts are the facts, and he's not going to change them.
Well, he's not going to like it.
Yeah! What the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm not so.
You're supposed to be loading them, not offloading them.
Oh, with me, I'd stick him in the harbour.
Here, get me alongside. Come on. Who gave you orders to unload them spuds?
It's not so fast.
A bit of recorking, that's all. And we've got it in hand.
The lad you hired says it's more than that. But we'll know at low tide when I shall survey your hull. Till then, those potatoes stay ashore.
Why? Thought we had a contract to carry them spuds.
Yes, providing your ship is tight, staunch, and strong, which I have good reason to believe it is not.
This is Mr. McCormick, sir. He's
The local Lloyd Surveyor, representing Mr. O'Dowd, the owner of those potatoes.
Well, if by not tight, staunch, and strong you're referring to the bit of caulking we lost when we touched the bottom crossing your bar, then you should keep your harbour mouth better dredged, shouldn't you?
The lad you hired to re-caulk has come to me to say your planking's rotten.
Poppycock.
Gentleman says he's going to survey the hull.
That's right.
Look, I do have some rather urgent business in
Well
Liverpool.
then,
I would...
your business will have to wait.
Well, I suggest you mind your business and let me mind mine, because what I'm thinking of can't wait.
What do they call it? A blessed state? Perhaps because one needs the patience of a saint to endure. So I should just be glad when it's all over.
Oh, not long now.
Then all this will seem as nothing to the sleepless nights and the complaints of a crying child.
Do you not find, Doctor, that people who have the advantage of experience and insist upon enlightening one can sometimes be quite insufferable?
Oh, well then, Letty, do not come to me for advice as to why he will not feed or what potions to give him.
You know I will. Sarah, you said he.
Oh, surely you still can't doubt it's going to be a boy.
Well, I hope so. For James's sake.
Oh, will Mr. O'Needen be returned?
Oh, I don't think even James would miss the birth of his son. Do you?
No.
Well, I must away. I'll come back in a few days. In the meantime, you start to save your strength. Let other folk do the running around.
Thank you. I promise.
Right then. My regards, ma'am.
Doctor.
Till next week.
Thank you, Dr. Ford.
Thank you.
He seems most delighted with you.
Oh, he's a very comfortable kind of doctor. I like him.
Well then, bearing in mind what he said about not worrying about business, if any matters should occur, you must let me attend to them. Now, I'm quite capable, so there's no point in arguing. It's quite settled.
Well, not to have to go down to the warehouse would be a relief, I must say.
Exactly. Oh. Now, what news of poor Charlotte?
Oh, she seems very well. Her Aunt Mary spoils her a good deal. Sometimes her letters are almost gay.
Well, thank the Lord for that. You know, I don't think I'll ever get over the way William treated her. If he'd been my son, Letty.
Well, we must just try to ensure that it doesn't ruin her life. Oh, Sarah, what news of the election? How's Daniel faring?
It's almost too early to say. Now, this might be a biased view, but he's definitely going to win. I hope you lose.
You don't mean that.
Don't I?
It's not in your nature to be interested in a loser.
Oh, better an honest loser than a dissembler or a cheat.
Now, is that what I am?
You know it.
I know I've made no promises that I don't intend to keep. And I mean to represent that ward in all good faith.
Do you intend telling the voters of your canal?
No. Because they wouldn't understand any more than you do.
That you intend to rob them of their jobs?
How many more times do I have to tell you? The Mersey docks and Harbour Board and the railways have got Lancashire in a vice. Now, their charges increase every day. They're a greater threat than any ship canal. Now, even James agrees that their monopoly must be broken, or industry in Lancashire will wither and die, and then where will Liverpool be?
The Mersey Docks and Harbour Board are not standing for election.
But Beaumont is. Now, can you honestly tell me you'd rather he won?
Now are you satisfied?
No, sir, I'm not. You're taking in a lot of water.
Look, why will you not accept the fact that it's just the corking?
You and your captain keep telling me that, but I am yet to be convinced.
You've been from stem to stern. You've been inside, you've been outside.
And I shall do so again if I have to.
Look, Lords examine my ships once a year.
We have responsibility for every ship entering this port.
He's still paddling around out there, poking his spike into every bit of timber he can find. Your only strength.
I didn't know we was carrying livestock this trip, sir. Well, there's a horse in the forward hold. It's not the cargo manifest, I'm sure.
No, it's none of your damn business either.
It's none of my business, of course, but don't you think it's a bit premature, sir?
What?
And a horse. I mean, it's not the sort of thing you get for a girl, is it?
I'll tell you something, Baines. If I'm landed with another daughter, I'll never... Who the devil are you?
O'Malley's the name, sir. I'm from the Board of Trade Marine Department. Would one of you gentlemen be Captain Baines?
That's me.
Ah, we've had two of your crew complaining about your ship. They say they won't sail in her because she's a leaky old tub. Captain, I've come to tell you I must survey your hull.
Oh, God save us. What next? Well, the whole world and its wife here next. Well, why not? Bring your cousin. Bring your uncles. Bring your whole family.
Lovely man.
Oh, Samuel, I'm not used to such gallantry.
Would you like another cushion for your head?
No, I'd be so comfortable I won't want to move.
According to Mother, nothing could do you more good.
Oh, she's being altogether too kind. You both are.
Nonsense. Anyway, it's me who should be grateful to you. The more there is to occupy Mother's time, the less she'll think of that charlatan pilgrim, which could only be a blessing.
You know, Samuel, you do that very nicely. I'd no idea your accomplishments extended so far.
Thank you, Aunt Letty. Now.
Thank you. Do you know, at the beginning of my confinement, I positively hated sugar. It's only of late it's become acceptable to me again.
How desperate. I wonder if Charlotte will be similarly afflicted. Mother told me, only the other day, though.
Oh, I see. Well, try not to think too badly of her, Samuel.
On the contrary. She's been in my thoughts ever since. She must be very lonely and frightened.
Her Aunt Mary is very good to her.
Oh, I know, but even so, I know if it was me, I'd be desperately unhappy. But to have to bear the whole world's censure alone. Oh.
Well, that's a kind and generous thought, Samuel. You know, when Charlotte comes back to us, she's going to need friends like you.
I shall have 12,000 printed and distributed throughout the ward. But tell me what you think.
It will gain my vote. Do you mean it all?
A politician must always mean what he says. Will you wish me luck?
Are you not taking something of a risk? Showing me things like this?
I don't think so. You're my friend. I'm sure I can rely on your discretion and sense of honor.
Just as I'm sure you would never betray your father's campaign to me.
He sees fit not to tell me. He either thinks me still a child or not sufficiently interested. Or perhaps he doesn't trust me in the way that you do.
Fathers and sons.
Yet you don't seem to have the same relationship with your father that I have with mine.
Happily, no. But then we have had longer to come to terms with each other. And I didn't have to meet my father as a stranger when I was already a man. I'm sorry if our friendship places you in a difficult position.
If it does, it's hardly your fault.
I'm sorry, too, it's your father I'm fighting in this election. But I do mean to win. And that will be but a beginning. I intend to raise a new Liverpool, William. Like a phoenix out of the ashes. Just think of it. What opportunities there will be for those prepared to grasp them. A veritable springtime of commerce. And I shall want all my friends to share in my prosperity, even if they are my rival's son.
All right, so you can't decide whether the planks are rotten or what to do.
It's Mr. O'Malley here who can't agree with me.
Are you with me?
That doesn't signify since I'm in the right.
I don't agree.
Exactly.
All right, Baines. Load those spuds. We'll sail tomorrow morning.
Right.
You will not.
I agree with that. For you'll get no crew to sailor till I give you a certificate of seaworthiness.
And those potatoes stay right where they are till I decide your ship's fit to carry them.
All right, Baines. Get a ship's repairer and we'll let him decide. Now, would that suit you?
It's no good sending for a ship repairer, sir. The tide's nearly in.
Besides, we've only the one in this little place. And he's away in Limerick at his brother's funeral.
Oh, that's right. God rest him. If I don't get back to Liverpool in time for my business, I shall remember you. I shall come back one day with the most verminous crew that I can muster. And by the time they've finished with this port, it'll look like I'll have a crumbled bin.
But not me. What chance would I have against Sir Daniel? I'm unknown, unprepared. It's ridiculous.
But what have you got to lose? Only my money. And think of the credit it would lay in store for next time.
I would not care to be a pawn in any private quarrel between you and Sir Daniel, Lady Fogarty.
I can assure you it is nothing so petty. Now, will you do it? Marcus, will you do it?
Yes, yes.
No, and it's damned insulting to Mr. Simmons.
Good evening, Sir Daniel.
I don't believe you've met my son, William.
Good evening.
This is Mr. Simmons, William. He's the director of an orphanage. He's been trying to persuade me to sit on the board of governors of the new orphanage.
Since it was our money that bought it, I'd hardly expect less.
Well, we must meet again soon and discuss details.
Whenever your ladyship pleases. Sir Daniel, Mr. Fogarty.
Good night, Mr. Simmons.
It's very nice to see you here, William.
We met at the club. Father suggested that I should come home to dine so that he could slander my friends to me along the way.
All I said was that his friendship with Beaumont had been remarked on.
Why shouldn't I be friends with a gentleman and a respected banker?
Because he's my political opponent.
But so is half of Liverpool. Must all my friends be Gladstone's toadies?
I think you might extend a little more loyalty to your father.
I haven't noticed any excessive support for Father's campaign from you.
Beaumont won't be satisfied until he's got Liverpool in his pocket.
He has great designs for this city.
All to his own advantage, no doubt.
Perhaps you'll tell us what they are.
Well, are you suggesting that I should betray those?
There's one way of making yourself useful.
You could have no concept of what honour means.
Don't presume to lecture me on honour, sir. Not after the way you behaved towards your cousin.
No, Dad.
Then you talk to him. And either change his tune or show him the door.
I shan't stay.
Could you not show a little more caring whether your father wins?
Why should I if you won't?
My quarrel with your father is a private one, matter of principle.
Am I not to know why?
I would prefer to keep it private.
From your own son?
Merely, I do not see how he can remain loyal to his charge as a city councillor while still remaining a director of the Manchester Ship Canal. The two would seem incompatible.
I had no idea. And he accuses Josiah of double-dealing, damn him.
Yeah, funny, really.
What is?
I was just thinking. I mean, here's me, the last of the Baineses, and there's you, young enough to be my son. And you're just starting your second family. Funny, that.
Funnier still when you think that my child and my grandchild will be the same age.
Grandchild? What, Miss Charlotte?
Thought you knew. Well, she is.
Well, I'm blowed. When's the wedding?
Not gonna be one. Oh, we know whose it is. Don't go thinking that that's in any doubt. I'm not gonna have a snivelling runt as a son-in-law.
But surely, Miss Charlotte...
I mean, if that's the best she can do, she's better up without. Murder bed. She can lie in it.
But it's to be a grand ball. All of Daniel's supporters will be there. I must appeal to your duty as his wife.
And I must beg you not to. I must be true to myself in this, Sarah, and there is an end to it.
Well, I never expected anything like this. I'm quite speechless.
Well, it's not like you, Sarah. Do I intrude?
I think perhaps I'd better go.
Nonsense.
No, indeed, you must not, Sarah. For I received an item of intelligence today which I'm sure will interest you both. Well, don't let me interrupt.
Oh, I think we've said all we need to say. Sarah is rather shocked because I won't play hostess at your election ball.
Oh, dear.
I don't know how you can be so disloyal.
Was ever a man more blessed with his family?
And I don't know how you can take it so lightly.
Because I have learned there is no other way.
Well, all I can say is that Robert would have whipped me. I don't see why that should so amuse you.
Well, perhaps if I told you what I heard today, we might all laugh. I have a new opponent. Just before the nominations closed, an independent candidate appeared. You know him, Sarah. You too, Elizabeth. None other than Marcus Simmons, our young philanthropist.
No.
Who has been a guest to this house, hasn't he, Elizabeth?
Oh, dear. To think it was I who first introduced him.
Who has received our hospitality and our money, hasn't he, Elizabeth? And now he stands against me. I buy him a new orphanage, and this is his thanks. Hardly overweening gratitude. Wouldn't you agree, Elizabeth?
I don't know how he's got the gall.
Well, I half suspected that you already knew.
Indeed, I did not. And he will receive no more support from my committees, I can promise you.
Oh, I do so admire your Christian principles, Sarah.
Didn't you know, Elizabeth?
Do you mean am I his sponsor?
Oh, Elizabeth, how could you think Daniel would ever mean any such thing?
I know who his sponsor is. I checked.
Did you?
It's a doctor called Porton.
But that's the doctor that's attending Letty.
Then she might do me the kindness of engaging someone else. But what interests me more is where Mr. Simmons is getting his financial backing.
Haven't you found out?
Not yet. Not that it matters. He can represent as many worthy causes as he likes. He doesn't stand a chance.
4 miles of new docks, my friend. Closer to the sea. Away from this damn bottleneck in the river channel. And an open hinterland we can develop to serve us without a city to circumnavigate. Now, these docks are needed, William. Already the Mersey Docks and Harbour Board are charging so much that many shippers cannot afford to come into Liverpool. Now, is that not a recipe for the success of such a venture? We could become the largest port in Europe.
Except there's something you should know.
All the sea lanes of the Atlantic
There's something I
converging
must tell
here.
you.
Is it not a vision, William?
Will you listen to me, Josiah? There's something you should know.
Concerning?
My father.
I would not have you break a confidence.
It did not come as one.
Then tell me nothing you may later regret.
My father is a director of a company which plans to build the ship canal from Liverpool to Manchester. Now, I'm sure you can see what that would mean for your new docks, to say nothing of Liverpool.
With me, I'd sink him in the harbour. Yeah, you must look into the match.
Can't go there shifting. Yes, well, you see, Mr. O'Dowd couldn't wait another day.
I don't see another ship out there.
There's the Banshee in the next port. She's due out tomorrow.
But I have a contract for those sports. You've broken it. Only because of you. I also heard that Mr. O'Dowd may sue you for compensation. Oh, have you, by heck?
This Banshee, now, who owns her?
Oh, well, I wouldn't be knowing that.
That's her lie, because I was speaking to her master this morning, and he owns her.
I do not. It's my brother's ship.
I thought you had a share in her yourself.
Well, what if I have? That's got nothing to do with this. It's a plot. I hope you don't mean what I think you mean. I mean what I say. I resent that imputation, sir. And I resent my being cheated by a bunch of thieving bog dwellers. How dare you?
Insults won't help the situation
You must
at
think
all.
that I'm green.
Sir.
Well, I'm not green.
Sir.
Yes, what is it? Well,
The damages to your bow. You see, didn't I say as much?
but is that planking right?
I was right. The damages to the bow.
All right. But is that planking right?
You'll never admit you're
Did
wrong.
you check that, Patrick? I know that. As I thought.
Mr. O'Neill! Mr. O'Neill! Look, that's from the bow itself.
Just wet?
Yeah, it's rotten.
Like a sponge. What did I tell you? Well, you're the ship repairer. Don't just stand there. Do something about it.
You'd need to be towed to the Graven dock. I can't do that till tomorrow.
Oh, I'm not paying towing charges as well.
Well, how the devil am I to work on it then?
Towage to you. Compensation to O'Dowd. Me cargo stolen by his brother. I'm being fleeced.
Look, your planks are rotten. You need recorking and resheeting. I can't do it in the mud.
Well, you'll have to, won't you?
Sure, it's only low water once a day.
Well, light flares at night. That way you'll get 2 low tides.
You'd have to pay grub money for that.
No.
Oh, yes, you would.
All right, then. Pay extra for night work. As long as you can guarantee that we sail in 2 days.
2 days? Is he mad or what?
Not yet, he isn't. But I wouldn't like you to see him when he is.
What will you do? Sue them?
Well, how can I when every word is true?
Well, at least deny it.
Well, this may shock you, Sarah, but I couldn't be so dishonest.
How did he find out?
That's been occupying my mind for the past half hour. I don't know.
What's the matter? Sarah, what's happened?
Our friend Beaumont has somehow discovered my involvement with the Ship Canal and has made it public.
What does that mean?
Well, it means it will do Sir Daniel great damage.
Come, it'll lose me the election. They'll desert me in droves.
Oh, the ball!
Never mind, Sarah. Even if no one else comes, we shall dance. Yes, and so it begins. This will be the first of those good and honorable men who put their trust in me, and now wonder how I could have deceived them so. Samuel, perhaps you'd be good enough to show them into the smoking room. Never mind, Sarah. Come and sit down. Don't cry.
It's not fair.
Well, perhaps not, but I would have done the same to him.
He would have deserved it.
But not me. I'm not sure my wife would agree with you. Was it you, Elizabeth?
Look, I'm trying to tell you. I've replaced your rotten planks, but I'm not finished recorking her.
Well, I can't wait.
I'm hardly up to your waterline.
Look, we're sailing in ballast only, right? Agreed? So we'll not be that low in the water.
His heavy season should be like a sieve.
The planks will swell, gaps will close up.
What's so important in Liverpool you can't wait another day?
Where's the mast, son?
Man, why didn't you say so? Can I have a word with you? You see, I can't let men crew a ship that isn't caulked.
Who's asking for the crew? Me and Baines will sail it ourselves.
The little brute shows more respect for his mother after he's born than he does now. He's kicking like a mule.
I hope he does indeed. But from what I can remember, the indignities of motherhood tend to multiply. Have you heard from James? How long?
Well, the doctor says it'll probably be about 10 days.
Oh, well, that's plenty of time. It need only take James 2 days to get home.
He's bedeviled by easterlies, and it could take as long as 3 weeks.
Even the weather wouldn't dare delay James O'Needin on this occasion.
Elizabeth, have you heard of a company called Portside Holdings?
Why?
Well, a man representing that company came to see the warehouse. Says they want to buy it. And, well, the sum is mentioned, Elizabeth. It's enormous. It's even more than the Mersey Docks and Harbour Board have offered.
Are you going to sell?
I don't know. Well, for some reason, I think not. Not very businesslike of me, but I don't know. I've become rather fond of the place.
Portside Holdings. I'll ask Daniel if he knows anything about it.
Where the hell have you been? We're sailing.
We are?
We've got 3 hours to catch the tide.
Right.
That's it. What on earth have you been buying?
This? It's just nothing, sir.
I've always wanted to see what a nothing looked like.
There's an even chance that at least one of them will be a girl, sir. Have we got a crew?
We haven't. Just the 2 of us sailing this ship.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I will take on all your proposals and reforms if you will withdraw publicly in my favor.
No, sir.
I will build you 2 new orphanages if you will withdraw publicly in my favor.
Sorry, no.
You realize you're as good as giving the election to Beaumont? You know you stand no chance, but any votes you do get, you'll steal from me. If I had the mind, I could tell your other benefactors that you have an interest in a brothel. Which you supply with girls from your orphanage, unless you withdraw in my favor.
You'd have to prove a lie like that.
Rich men can prove anything.
I would not withdraw for you, Sir Daniel, if you offered me El Dorado. Good day, sir.
Mr. Simmons, it's a pity you're going to lose this election. You're the kind of man this city needs. But don't ask me for money, ever again.
It's not often I have this pleasure.
Well, you've called to the house so little of late.
I couldn't altogether believe that I'd be welcome.
Now, what on earth makes you think that? Your father doesn't know it was you who betrayed him to Mr. Beaumont.
Neither do you.
Oh, I think so. But you needn't worry. I've allowed him to think it was me.
Why?
Because, in a sense, it was. I only told you because I wanted Mr. Beaumont to find out, and I was sure I could rely on your disloyalty. You realize how proud that makes me?
Isn't the schemer as guilty as her tool?
But then isn't my punishment the expression in your father's eyes every time he looks at me? Still, I would rather that than have you exposed to his wrath.
I'm not a child, Mother. I don't need your protection.
Oh, William, please believe a woman who still holds you in some love. You are not, nor ever will be, half as clever or as dangerous as your father. He could beggar you to rags if the whim so took him. So, let's be sensible, shall we?
Oh. There is some point to the homily, is there?
In return for my not telling Daniel what you have done, you will obtain for me one piece of information.
From whom?
Mr. Beaumont, of course.
Spy on him.
Precisely.
You're as contemptible as my father.
And deceit is obviously your stock in trade. Look, I merely wish to know whether Mr. Beaumont owns a company called Portside Holdings Limited.
Then go and ask him.
I don't think that would be a very good idea, do you?
I will not be used.
Well, no doubt your father will want to say a few words to you personally. Shall I tell him he may find you here, or at the apartment, or sitting on Beaumont's knee?
Whether he owns such a company, I don't know, and I will not spy for you. But I have seen documents in his office with the name Portside Holdings written on them.
So he wants to buy Letty's warehouse. What of it?
It was his offer coming so soon after the Mersey Docks and Harbour Board had made theirs that intrigued me. Portside Holdings, I discover, are buying up as much water frontage as they can lay their hands on.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, in several cases, the Mersey Docks and Harbour Board make an offer, then Portside Holdings better it, which suggests that Mr. Beaumont must have a spy inside the Harbour Board, able to tell him what land they're interested in buying and how much they're prepared to pay.
Well, how would that profit him?
Well, because having bought the land, Portside Holdings then lease it back to the Mersey Docks and Harbour Board at a wickedly high rental.
Ah. Thereby forcing the Harbour Board to increase their charges.
You said that the Harbour Board's new charges were a greater threat than your canal. If you were to tell the newspapers what Mr. Josiah Beaumont is doing, they will crucify him.
Why do you give this weapon to me and not to young Simmons?
Because I owe it to you. And besides, Mr. Simmons is too honorable to use it.
Damn you. Damn you. May you burn in hell, Fogarty.
Fast slip me, Doc.
I'm beginning to take in water. 3 inches in the last half hour.
Don't just stand there. Get to the pump.
Oh, 2 days. 3. I'd be surprised if it's more.
I wish James would come.
Why? Still has 2 clear days. Because you, dear lady, are going to make me a promise.
Am I?
You are going to promise me that you will not start birth until after tomorrow night.
Why?
Well, because tomorrow night I have to be at the City Hall. And if I'm there, I cannot be here. The election.
I did not think it possible.
I don't know what to say.
I shall make no pretense of being a gracious loser, William. You must understand that for this affair, your father has earned my undying enmity.
There we are.
Splendid, Uncle.
This is very kind of you, Daniel, but I don't really understand what we're celebrating.
Ah.
After all, you didn't win.
No, Mother, but neither did Beaumont. Surely that's worth celebrating in
Well, I
itself.
don't deny that.
Oh, how fortunate. It seems we are just in time.
Mr. Simmons?
I have invited them here to celebrate, Daniel.
Elizabeth.
If our presence is odious to you, sir.
No, Mr. Simmons.
You may not be acquainted with my sponsor, Dr. Portman.
Should you not be with my sister-in-law, Doctor?
Oh, there are messages all over town as to where I may be found, sir.
Come, let us toast our new city councillor.
Elizabeth, you cannot be serious.
No, Sarah, let's not be ungracious. Mr. Simmons well knows the regard in which I hold him. Congratulations.
Yes, indeed.
Counselor.
Thank you. I hope I may prove equal to the honor that has been bestowed on me.
I think my wife deserves a special vote of thanks, don't you? After all, it was her campaign on your behalf that got you elected.
Nonsense, Daniel.
I'm not sure I follow your meaning, sir.
And let me explain. She set Beaumont and I at each other's throats, gave each ammunition to discredit the other, thereby utterly destroying each other's chances, which left you with a clear run home. A masterpiece of strategy, Elizabeth, executed to perfection.
I'm sure I don't know what you mean either, Daniel.
You have done me a greater service than you could possibly know.
Well, I'm glad you take that view. Local government is hardly worthy.
Well, I wouldn't say that. But thanks to the attention given to my canal scheme, I have been invited to stand for Parliament, to represent a Manchester constituency.
You wouldn't.
And I have gratefully accepted.
I'm sorry. But I'm not blaming you, damn it. We'll make it.
Manchester.
That's what he says.
What did your Aunt Elizabeth say to that?
Oh, wish you could have seen her face. And Mother's. Oh, their expressions. It was as if their husbands had suddenly been declared bigamists. I like Uncle Daniel. I wouldn't like to be his enemy, but I do like him.
Samuel. No, don't be frightened.
Oh, no.
No, it's all right.
God. Mrs. Gibson!
Don't shout. Look, it's all right.
Mrs. Gibson! I'll get you some hot water. Sorry. Mrs. Gibson!
Samuel! Samuel, just run for the doctor.
Aye.
Wind's veered. It's with us. With luck, we should stop taking in water now. We'll be home in 10 hours.
Relax, dear lady. You must try to save your strength. Now, lie calm.
Has James come? James, has he come?
Oh, where have you been?
Is she?
No, James, no, it's all right. It's all right. The doctor's with her.
she already...
No, not yet.
Well, is she...
No, James, it isn't going to be easy for her. Now, come on. Come on. Are you all right?
Just haven't slept for a couple of days.
Well, go in and sit down.
Oh, please don't let her suffer.
Letty, he's here. James is here. He's downstairs. Can you hear me, Letty?
Oh, you tell her. Tell her. It must be a boy. He's so stubborn. Oh.
Try to relax. I know it isn't easy, but you must try to relax and conserve your strength. Grip my hand. That's it. Grip my hand hard. Don't worry, I'm here. It's all right. It's all right. I know.
This is how Anne died. Just like this. I thought, never again. I might not go through all this again. Oh, not for all the tea in China.
It's a boy.
What you wanted. And the midwives washed him. And you see him.
You just rest now, eh? I'm not leaving. Just gonna have a word with the doctor.
The child is not well. Its color is blue. Its heartbeat is very irregular. I'm afraid I have no choice. I have to tell you,
it is unlikely the child will live above a few days.